And welcome back to Capitol Review. Juneteenth was celebrated this week in the DMV and across the country. But what does the holiday really mean? And what does it mean to the African-American community? Joining us now to answer some of those questions is Cheyanne Daniels. Cheyanne is the host of the Switch Up with Cheyanne Daniels podcast with our media partners at The Hill. Cheyanne, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, Cheyanne, thank you. Take us back to where this all started. Can you explain the origins of Juneteenth?
Absolutely. So as we know, on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which emancipated the enslaved. But what ended up happening was that news didn't reach the enslaved in Galveston, Texas for 2 years. So it took until June 19th, 1865 for those in that city of Texas to be able to learn of their freedom. Now, it's a little bit interesting because we've heard from some of our experts on the Switch Up that the news actually might have been known, but what ended up happening was they needed Union troops to come and enforce the president's emancipation. And so that's really where the Juneteenth celebrations come from, is that June 19th day when Union soldiers entered Galveston, Texas, and either informed those who were enslaved or simply enforced the president's Emancipation Proclamation.
Well, Cheyanne, it's 2024. What does this day mean to those in the African-American community, and why is it special? Why should it be celebrated?
Absolutely. That's a wonderful question. And, we hear oftentimes that part of the reason Juneteenth still needs to be celebrated and recognized today is because even though a lot has changed, obviously there is no longer slavery, Jim Crow is behind us. Many say that, one, it's a recognition of America's history, the original sin of slavery, and it also marks how far we've come, but the progress we still need to make to achieve true equity and equality in our country.
Can we elaborate on some of the significance of it being an official federal holiday?
Yes. So President Joe Biden officially declared Juneteenth a federal holiday in June 2021. And really that came after the racial reckoning in the summer of 2020 following the murder of George Floyd. But really the push to make Juneteenth a federal holiday dates back to 100 years ago when those in Texas, representatives in Texas, were trying to have Juneteenth be recognized as a state paid holiday. But really what ended up happening is the work of several names, including Miss Opal Lee, who is referred to as the grandmother of Juneteenth, did this huge push to bring it to the attention and to say we need to be able to talk about what happened to those who were enslaved, whether that's not just the horrors, but the generations that followed after them, to be able to succeed in today's environment, whether that's as President of the United States, as we saw with President Barack Obama, to being appointed to the Supreme Court, as we saw with Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. So for many, being recognized as a federal holiday is a day to recognize not only many of the things that we learn in school about history, but the progress and successes that we have made today.
You talked about what we learn in school. Should Juneteenth be taught more in school? Is it being taught more in school? And what do you think the future of Juneteenth should look like?
So for many, no, Juneteenth is not taught, and there's a few reasons for that. One is most of us, when we're in school, we're usually out of school by the time Juneteenth hits, right? But also what we're seeing right now is very clearly a battle over what aspects of Black history to teach. And part of Juneteenth is that legacy of slavery, which for many is divisive. It's something that we shouldn't be exposing children to. But at the same time, there are those who say that part of teaching Juneteenth is for us to be able to reckon with our history. And we also know that for many, being able to learn about Juneteenth, particularly for Black students, is be able to recognize and know our own history, to know where we come from, to understand what our ancestors endured. And so there's this battle right now taking place over whether or not Juneteenth should be taught. And if it is being taught, what aspects of it is it being taught wholly and truthfully? We heard from one of our guests on the podcast, Dr. Dr. Frederick Knight, who is concerned in some ways that if Juneteenth is being taught, maybe it's not being taught wholly. And he said that takes an element of bravery because we have to confront the slavery aspect of Juneteenth in order to get to the celebration that is Juneteenth.
Cheyanne Daniels, thank you very much for joining us.